Hello everyone. In this video, we will go through the English workshop exercises of the poem. Please listen. We will begin with the summary of the poem. In this poem, please listen, the poet makes a strong statement or cries out in despair or anguish to the people who are always trying to advise him on how to run his life. Whenever he is emotional or faltering or hesitating, he discusses his issues with elders and he is not looking for them to give him advice or solutions. He is only asking them to give him a ear, to listen. He just wants to express his feelings. Sometimes the person he discusses with tries to do things with him, solve things, thereby making him feel inadequate and increasing the fear which is there already within him. He sincerely wishes that elders would accept him as he is and not try to rule his life with advice or actions that they feel are correct. He prefers to pray to God. As he says, when he talks to God, he feels that God listens and then allows him or her to work out his or her own problems. God does not speak or give advice. In conclusion, the poet says that he or she is always willing to listen. If anyone wants to be heard, first they must hear him or her out completely without any judgment, and then very willingly he or she will speak to them. Beginning with the English workshop exercises, the following expressions are given to you. You have to put them in a table of do's and don'ts. Okay? So you already know what a table of do's and don'ts are. Make a normal table, 2 columns, one column titled do's and the other one don'ts. Now, please listen, according to the poet, comes under a do. Okay? Do's are the things that the poet wants you to do, and don'ts are the things that the poet does not want you to do. So he wants you to please listen, hear him, accept as a simple fact, and wait a minute. And he doesn't want you to give him advice, to tell him why he should do this or that, to solve his problem or contribute to his fear. Write the answers in your own words. What does the listener do when the poet asks him just to listen? Give 3 points. Now, when the poet asks the listener to just listen, the listener, instead of listening, gives him advice, tells him not to be irrational, and then tries to solve his problems. Why does the poet remark that advice is cheap? The poet says that advice is one thing that people are willing to give very freely. Advice can also be got for only 20 cents in newspaper columns. So he believes that advice is very cheap. Which 2 facts show that the poet is confident of overcoming his irrational feeling? Irrational meaning unreasonable feelings. The poet says that when he begins to understand what is behind his unreasonable feeling, then he doesn't need any more advice. He is then able to solve his problems on his own. This shows that he is confident of overcoming those irrational feelings. According to the poet, how does God help people when they pray to him for help? God is mute, silent. He only listens and doesn't give any advice. When we talk or pray to him, he listens, but lets you work out your own issues or problems. Hence, the problems are solved by you yourself. Why should one learn to tackle one's problems by one's own self? Tackle meaning to deal with. Why should one learn to solve or deal with one's problems by oneself? The first step to solving a problem is admitting that there is a problem. Then we can go ahead and try to solve it by ourselves. The more we learn to deal with or tackle our own problems, the better our self-confidence and self-belief becomes. The more you pay attention to yourself and your feelings or emotions, the better you understand what you do and why you do things. You then get dependent on yourself and not on others, which is a very good thing. Why should seniors not overprotect and overpamper juniors? Seniors here meaning adults and juniors means teenagers, youngsters. Okay. Now, it is the duty of seniors to protect juniors. But there is a difference between protect and overprotect. They should also allow them to do things by themselves. And overpamper means spoil the child. Give him whatever, give him or her whatever she wants, and thereby spoiling the child. So why should seniors not do these things? Now, if seniors pamper and overprotect juniors, it will lead to a certain amount of dependency. The juniors may get weak emotionally and unable to handle situations. This will not help them to go through tough situations in life. Some juniors may depend on the toughness of their elders and become belligerent and not want to take orders from anyone. So becoming belligerent meaning saying, you know, whenever there's a problem, they'll say, you know who my father is? Don't talk to me like this. I'll show you, you know, my father is like this or my mother is like this or I have an uncle who is a big shot. Okay. So they cannot deal with their own situation, but they depend on the toughness of their elders to protect them, and thereby they will not be able to face any tough situations in life by themselves. Find out and write some proverbs, axioms, or quotations that convey a message similar to self-help is the best help. I'm sure you all agree that helping yourself is the best form of help. Now, before we write something like this, we want to know what are proverbs. Now, proverbs are short, well-known sayings, a truth. Like self-help is the best help, cleanliness is next to godliness, honesty is the best policy. An axiom is an accepted, proven statement. Meaning, suppose I say in geometry, you know, the sum of the angles of a triangle equal 180. That's already accepted, proven statement. That's called an axiom. And a quotation is spoken words that are repeated. Like we repeat some person who has said the words of some person, some great person like Mahatma Gandhi or Mother Teresa. Those are known as quotations. So some proverbs or quotations that, you know, give a similar message to self-help is the best help is the only time you fail is when you fall down and stay down by Stephen Richards. Make the most of yourself, for that is all there is of you, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And do what you can with all you have, wherever you are, by Theodore Roosevelt.